All right, hey guys. So this is a process that I've shown you before, but today there's just some good examples of how to approach this when you're looking for upcoming opportunities, perhaps that are setting up in the market. So when I start the day and I'm looking for where money is flowing from the overnight, I always come here to I'm on TradingView, just looking at the broad cryptocurrency market, and what I'm looking for is where's the volume, right? I don't care about the percentage change as much, because sometimes you'll see coins you've never heard of here, but they're much smaller coins, right? So what I'm looking for is where is the volume flowing. So I always sort by volume. Where is money flowing to? And of course, most of the time you're going to see your top 15 coins, all the coins with market caps of $1 billion or more. But every now and then, something will stand out and it will catch your eye. And then the question is, okay, well, if money's flowing there, is it trading technically? So there were a couple of good examples today. The first one I thought I'd show you, and of course, I'm always curious to see who's holding, who can stay positive in the face of what Bitcoin is doing, who can hang with the big dog. So I go through this list here, and I typically will start with Bitcoin and see if there are any standouts. Well, of course, Ethereum Classic, that's pretty interesting. EOS, that's definitely been on the move lately. And then I see down here, whoa, NXT. Well, this is a coin I've looked at before, and this is up 24% today against Bitcoin. Well, that gets me interested. So I want to come over here and see on the dollar how we doing here. Here's NXT, just about the same, 26% against the dollar. So, clearly we've got volume flowing in it. We've got big percentage change. Something is happening there. First question, is it trading technically? So I will bring it up both against the dollar and Bitcoin. So let's start here with Bitcoin. So, this is where having some knowledge of Elliott Wave is just invaluable, right? So this is about as technical as I've seen anything trading recently. This is just absolutely stunningly technical. Now, look here. So I'm on the 2 hour, just so you can see it here. So if we look back here, we've been in this long system, like many alts, just a long downtrend. Okay, so it goes on for a long time. So eventually we get a little pop here. Here's the first pop. We get above the Vegas wave. We did have one here, but it fell back. So we've got one here. It looks like we're sustaining. So the first thing I want to see, if I've got a good pop here, do I get a 5-wave structure? Now you can see here I did as well. Right, so here would be a failure. This looked like potentially you had the making of a breakout. You get a 5-wave structure, it fails. Right, so nothing's perfect. Right, it happens. Keeps going down. Now we could probably go back and measure it, but I won't take the time to do that here. Here's where we get. I'm just trying so as though you were first looking at it. Okay, well here's your low. Well, then we get a nice 1, 2. Then we get a 3, 4, 5. So we get nice subdivision here into a 1-wave. Well, anticipating a correction, we get this nice ABC, and we get, see here. Okay, we'll go from our low to our high. Well, we know, likely place for it. And where do we go? I don't know, hundreds of times I've shown this to you guys before, but right between the 618 and the 65, right? Just right in the pocket. Like they don't set up any better. That's what you're hoping for. Like, oh, maybe I could catch it right in that. So that your order is a couple of ticks above the 618. Boom, you get through, you get filled. There's your 2. Okay, so where would the first target be? Well, just off of the algo target, here's your first target. Here's the negative 23, negative 618, negative 100, and look where we go. To the tick, we go to the negative 1618. Amazing, right? So that's as relates to algo targets. But we also are looking relative to Elliott wave structure. So we can do some projecting. Well, if we've got a 1, 2, what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for the highest probability location for our third. So we 1, 2. Oh, that's interesting. Well, here's the first location. We look at that and say, okay, well, this is the statistically where you would anticipate a third wave going. So I got to bring this down a little bit so you can see it. Right between the 1618 and the 175. Well, we actually get a little spike, a little wick high that goes through it. But given that I know that's a good probability zone for a third, and given that relationship here, that gives me confidence that I've got a third wave in. And boom, look at the reaction. Now we come down, we put in the fourth. Well, let's measure that. Okay, so here we've actually got subdivision. So we've got in white, we've got the 1, 2. There's the 3 right to target. We know it went right to the 1618 from the 618 65 window down here. Okay, so we get subdivision within our third. We get a really nice 1, 2. There's a 3, 4, 5. Well, we can measure that. Is that technical? Well, here's my 1. There's my 2. Okay, well here, yep, we went 2 and through on that scale. So we're with that little wick, we went through the 618, which implying a lot of strength. Well, then we're looking from the 2 low to the 3 high. A few ticks from the 38.2, exactly what you'd expect. That's where you're looking for the fourth. And then we get one more push back up. Here we come a little shy of the negative 23. Maybe algos were taking profit early. But we had that negative 618 from the larger degree. So with confidence, we can project, okay, I've got a 1, 2, 3 in place. What am I looking for? So first thing I'm going to do is wick the wave 1 high, because I want this to stay impulsive. So I mean, it potentially could be a diagonal, since we're in the start of what at this moment we're hoping is an impulsive structure. It could be a diagonal, but I prefer to see an impulsive structure. I prefer that. So if that's my 2, then I'm going to pull from my 2 low up to my 3 high. And what do? We go just a few ticks in front of the 618. Let me get that C down here a little bit. Okay, so we're just a few so highest probability zone is between the 38 and the 50, but we go deep. But we get an A, B, C, and we stall here, and then we scream higher. Okay, well, if I've got a 4 in, it's certainly valid. We don't get even close to the wave 1 high. I get a nice ABC, a shallow C, but we're seeing that all over crypto. Well, then what am I expecting? Well, I'm looking for a 5th wave, and I'm looking for subdivision within that wave. So I'm going to go down to the hourly so we can see this a little bit better. Okay, so interestingly, we go right to the Vegas wave. Amazingly consistent how good that is. Well, so here's a 1 wave, right? We go right to the median line. So from here's the corner pocket trade. So right little corner pocket down here, we go target to the median line. We get just a little shy of it. Yeah, how tight am I? Let me get that tightened up a little bit. So I think you get a little bit tighter on that. When you change the time frame with TradingView, really with all platforms, you got to get these dialed back in and make sure you're spot on them. That looks good. Let's get this tightened up. This is it just comes with the territory. You got to do it when you change time frames. Okay, so here we get nice and tight there. There's my C wave. There's my 2 wave. Let's blow it back out. Okay, there we go. Now we get right to the median line. So that's a perfect corner pocket trade. Right? We don't get to the 618. We go right to the median line. Bread and butter. Okay? You don't need the L8 wave to make that trade. That's just perfect, right? So we tap the median line. Okay? What are we looking for next? Well, if I'm in my 3, 4, I'm looking for subdivision into my 5th. Well, what am I expecting now? So I'm going to take this off. Here's my 1, 2. Well, I guess I don't need this anymore. So I'm going to go back here. Here's my start of my 1 wave, right to the median line. Well, we go look right into the sweet spot of the Vegas wave. We go to and through the 61865 by a few ticks, but we know that a second wave can go as deep as the 786 down here. But look, we go right into the pocket of the Vegas wave. It's just unbelievable. Right to it. And then we rip up, and what are we looking? Where we go? Here. So we go from the algo pull here, negative 23, negative 618. We're just a few shy of the negative 100 being an extreme. Well, let's look at it from Elliott perspective. We'd be looking for a relationship between the 1 wave to the 2 wave. Where's the most likely space for a third wave? The highest probability statistically. Well, we know that's between the 1618 and the 175. And look where we go. We split it. Right? Again, I've shown this so many times. I almost feel like I'm just repeating myself, which is the point I'm trying to make to you guys. It's the same thing over and over and over again. same patterns, same fib relationships. Listen, nothing's perfect. Perfection is unattainable in the markets. Don't strive for it. You're going to get stopped out regularly. You don't get in the ring without taking some hits. As I often will say, make sure they're jabs. Don't take an uppercut to the jaw and get knocked out in any one trade. Right? This is just textbook technical trading. It's almost like you're taking it out of a book where you made this up. You can't make this up. Just here's my wave one high. So we're right to where we expect the third wave to be. Oh, okay. Well, let's check if that's my 2 and that's my 3. What am I looking for in my 4? Somewhere between the 38 and the 50. That's my highest probability zone. Boom. We split the difference right into the pocket. We don't overlap the 1. I've got a good impulsive move underway. What am I looking for here? Well, here's my market geometry. Here's the upper edge of the pitchfork, the outside parallel median line, the upper median line. I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm looking for that 5th. So again, just going through the same motions. Again, if that's my 4, I can project up for my 5. Likely target. I showed you this in Bitcoin earlier today. There's the 100. There's the 1272, and then we've got the negative 23. So I got a big window up here. Big spot right here, looking for a 5th. If that's the 5th of this move, and I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what am I doing? I've just put in a 1 wave. If that completes up here, and we don't know for sure that it's going to, but that certainly would make sense. Potentially. Any help from the oscillators? They're still strong. But, look at, we've got some divergence here in the RSI. So potentially you've either done it here a few ticks from the 100, which is the most common for a 5th relative to the 1st. Or we're going to push a little bit higher. We've got this nice window here looking for a potential completion of this. Here's the geometry. So I'd be looking for the 272. Wouldn't surprise me. And here's the algo target from this pull here. Right, so we've got so again, the idea is not to be calling a top. The idea is to be looking for this going, I've got a potential pivot zone here to be alerted to. So at this moment, there's no trade here. If you didn't catch any of this, you don't want to be chasing it here. What you're waiting for, and the point of this, is that I've got a market that volume is flowing into. It's strong against Bitcoin. I'm approaching a potential technical pivot here that would give me a high probability, given how technically it's traded and the clear subdivision, the clear Elliott wave pattern that's at play here, giving me a potential 1 wave. If that's a good 1, then I just sit patiently. Now I know this is on my radar. So if this is my 1, what am I looking at? Well, I got to go back. If that's a completed 5-wave sequence, I got to go all the way back to my low here. If that's complete, because now I'm looking for the 2 wave. And where's the highest probability for a 2 wave? Between the 50 and the 618. So if that we top there, we don't know. I mean, we could have topped here. We just don't know. Until we see the market start to move away and we start putting in lower highs, implying that potentially we've got a good pivot. Well, here's my 2 wave right down here. So this is on my radar now, right? So the idea, the point being, again, it's a market, money's moving into it. It's trading incredibly technically. I've got fib, I've got algos in, and I've got good Elliott wave structure. Everything that I'm looking for. And all I did was just come over here and go, oh, where's money moving today? And how's it moving, if it is moving? Is it trading technically? Is there an opportunity there? Does this need to be on my radar? Well, so the first thing I'm going to do is put an alarm right here on this pivot high, see if we get there. I'm certainly going to keep this, on my watch list. I'm watching this. Here's the next trade. This is what I'm looking for, is the 2. Because I know I've got, so if I've got a 1 in, I'm looking for the big 3. That's your money-making wave. If this is the start of a new trend, remember, I'm just on a 1 hour here. Right? Think of this in the context of where we've been. This is just my 1 wave. I mean, it's been absolutely spot on, perfect technicals. Well, if this is my 2, well, here's my first target. Here's my algo target. I mean, that's a pretty juicy move right there, and that's just the first one. This would be the first target right there. Now you may have to expand the pitchfork, of course, to accommodate the so we might have to go to the 200, 300%. But that's the next trade that we're looking for. And that's your first target. So this is potential profit. But, we've got upper targets here as well. So if that were to be a 2, right, so keep this in mind. It's always, we're combining 2. So if that's my 1, if that's my 2, well, where's my highest probability for a 3? Right, I just showed that to you. It's up here between the 1618 and the 175. Now that is a beauty trade. And that's all just from looking today. Where's money going? Where's money flowing? Could that be there? Well, here, partial profit. I mean, all of these are potential places. And of course, what are you looking for within that? If I'm going to get a 1-2 and I'm going impulsive here, I sure as heck am looking for impulsive subdivision into my third. And my expectation is going to continue to trade technically. No reason to think otherwise until I see a failure or we invalidate some Elliott rule set. Right? Does that make sense? Partial, bang. Look at it. Right? And then if that's the 3, well, now, I've got something that's moving technically again. Let me get my 3 up here. If that's my 3, what am I waiting for? I'm just sitting quiet. I'm like, bang, I banked here. Now I'm just waiting for my 4. Until it fails, you have a roadmap here. You have an unfair advantage to anyone who is not either able to do this work or doesn't know how to do this work. You have an unfair advantage because you have the potential roadmap of the market. Now, is it going to follow that exactly? Right? You don't know. But you've got a potential scenario here. And more often than you'd believe, once you've done this for as long as I have, the market, you will see this. And it won't be every time. It will be a smaller percentage of the time. But the point is, when it does do it, the opportunity for you to load your account is enormous. You've got the roadmap of the market. You've got it ahead of time. Think of it that way. All right, I think I'm making my point. All right, I'll wrap it there on that one, guys.